everybody? Welcome back to another week of Pick 6. I'm your host, Brian Batko, filling in for usual host, Rishi Sethi. I can't believe it's week 8 already in the NFL. It's kind of sad, but we got a great slate of games this week. Let's meet this week's panel.
Hi, I'm Marshall, and I don't care how many injuries I have, I'm not going to ever break my streak of Pick 6 panels.
Hi, I'm Adam. Fans of the show might know that last time I was on here, I didn't get a single pick right, so take everything I say with a grain of salt.
I'm Simrath. I'm just back for another week as usual, ready to dominate as usual. What else is new? Let's get to it.
All right, Simrath, like you said, let's dive right into week 1. First game, Miami Dolphins at the Cincinnati Bengals. Guys, who do you got?
Well, I remember last week, I think it was Brian who was saying that he was trying to figure out a reason why Cincinnati should win, and he couldn't do it. And again, this week, I can't do it either. The Bengals' D has just been really bad lately. In their 4 losses, they've given up 31 points per game, and they're allowing 118 yards to rushers, which hopefully will be able to get Miami's running game on track, which struggled last week. Palmer did look a little better last week, but I just don't think the Bengals are going to be able to keep up with the Dolphins here. I think the Dolphins will win this one.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Marshall here. I don't think the Bengals have what it takes to beat the Dolphins. Like he said, they're allowing 118 yards rushing per game. Against Ricky Williams and Ronnie Brown, that's not a good number to have. I'm going to look for them to lose this game and put them in a real deep hole in the AFC North at 2-5.
You know, this game is basically both teams' seasons on the line. If Miami goes to 3-4 in that division with the Jets and the Patriots, they can pretty much just kiss away their season. The Bengals already 2-4; they're already in some pretty big trouble. They go to 2-5; they may as well just start playing for draft pick status. But anyway, I think both these teams are both stuck in a rut of mediocrity. But the Bengals are 10 times worse than the Dolphins when it comes to that rut of mediocrity. I just think that the Dolphins have too much on both sides of the ball. They have a good solid roster still. I think Devon Bess, Braden Marshall will give problems like Roddy White did last week to the Bengals. I think home field advantage isn't enough for the Bengals, who should no way in this game be favored at all. I'll take the Dolphins.
All right, everybody picking the Dolphins there. I can't say I'm surprised. Next game we have the Green Bay Packers at the New York Jets. What do you guys think?
Well, while the Green Bay Packers offense has been looking a lot better lately, they're coming up against the Jets' D that has been really tough, and I don't think they're going to have success this week. I think the key in this game is on the ground. Green Bay is not going to get much against this Jets defense, to be honest, whereas the Jets, their rushing offenses look really good lately. Tomlinson is having a rebirth of his career almost, and Green Bay's rush D is allowing 124.3 yards a game. That's just not going to get a cut, and especially with all their injuries, there's no way they're going to be able to keep up with the Jets.
I'm not sold on the Green Bay Packers. They almost lost the Minnesota Vikings last week at home, and they barely managed to win that game. They're coming up against a rested Jets team coming off their bye week. I think the Jets might start slow because they're on the bye week, but once they get their feet underneath them, like Marshall said, their rushing attack and their defense is just going to absolutely dominate Green Bay. Look for the Jets to win this one.
You know, I think the Jets are a bit overrated here. Everybody was just bashing on them early in the year. Then they had one good half against the Patriots at home, and now all of a sudden people have been riding their bandwagon. Something to consider. The Oakland Raiders went to Denver last week. They won 59-14, and the Jets went there just a little bit before. They needed a little fluky pass interference call at the end just so they could score a game-winning touchdown on 4th down. I really think the Jets are getting overhyped here. I still don't believe in Mark Sanchez. I think the Packers can move the ball this week against the Jets secondary. Revis might say he's fully healthy, but I don't know if he is. He hasn't played as well nearly as he did last year. I think the Packers can move the ball. They were number 1 last year in run defense. They traditionally have been good. They haven't been as good this season. Adrian Peterson had a good game last week, but I think they can contain the Jets' running defense. I think they can contain the Jets' running game, and I think in the end, Aaron Rodgers can outduel Mark Sanchez. I'll go with the upset here this week.
Simrath with a vote of confidence for the Packers. I like it. All right, now we're going to move on to a matchup that's so great that the NFL deemed it too much even for American soil. The Denver Broncos and the San Francisco 49ers facing off in London. Fellas, what do you think on this one?
Well, I've got to be honest. I feel kind of sorry for all these British sports fans who think they're going to go out to see hopefully a great NFL game, and I get to see this. Both these teams were abysmal last week. They really were. These teams exemplify why the West divisions in both leagues should just be dissolved completely. The fact that these two are even still being talked about is just terrible. I don't know who's going to win this. It's really tough to decide. Something tells me that Denver's going to pull this one out, they have an awful rush defense, but San Francisco's got a new quarterback coming in. Who knows how that's going to work out? I don't know. This to me is just a waste of a game. Sorry, British fans.
Well, I would just like to point out that even if we had the Buffalo Bills playing the Detroit Lions, playing the Oakland Raiders all at the same time, it would still beat soccer, or football as they like to call it over there. In terms of this game, there's a new quarterback, Troy Smith, for the San Francisco 49ers. When you have a new quarterback, the plan is hand the ball off, hand the ball off, hand the ball off, maybe pass every once in a while. Well, guess what? They're handing the ball off to Frank Gore, who's a great running back. And guess what? Denver has a terrible rushing defense. I think San Francisco will probably be able to pull this game out.
You know, they should just stop with these London games. Last year they had the Bucks when the Bucks were awful. They had the Dolphins a couple years ago when the Dolphins won one game. The Chargers a couple years ago when they were off to a 4-8 start. They should just stop. They've never matched this kind of low. Listen, this is just terrible. I have no rhyme or reason to pick right here. I'm going to go with the 49ers because they have Frank Gore and the Denver Broncos can't run the ball. It's always rainy up in London. Seems like every year we play these games, it always rains. Conditions are terrible, but again, I just have no rhyme or reason. Troy Smith will keep his undefeated streak alive in San Francisco, but it'll be not due to him at all.
All right, so the decision goes to the 49ers. I guess somebody has to win that game. Next game, biggest storyline of the week. Brett Favre and the Minnesota Vikings traveling to the Patriots. A lot of it's going to hinge on who's in there at quarterback for the Vikings. What do you guys see is going to happen?
Well, it may be the biggest storyline of the week of whether Brett Favre is going to play or not, but to be honest, it's not going to matter in this game. If he comes in, the Patriots team is going to harass him, and he's probably not going to play very well like he's been doing all season anyway. If Tavares Jackson plays, he's not going to be in sync yet. It's not going to matter. The Patriots are going to win this game. I would like to see that maybe Randy Moss gets some revenge on them, but if no one can throw him the ball, how's he going to be able to do that? Patriots keep finding a way to win, and they'll do it again here.
Well, I tell you what, I think Brett Favre is going to play this week, and that means this game can go either one of two ways. Brett Favre could have a terrible game on a broken ankle and hand the game ball to the New England Patriots. Or Brett Favre could pull off another one of his miracles, and that he could dominate the New England Patriots. Since I'm a guy who likes to see the glasses 1 quarter full instead of 3 quarters empty, I like Brett Favre in the upset here. I think he's going to come out, the team's going to rally around him as a wounded warrior, and he's probably going to throw 4, maybe even 5 touchdown passes to beat the New England Patriots.
I was going to say before Brodie made that call, how exactly the Vikings expect to win this game this week, but Brodie just mapped out the game plan. I think there's some flaws in that game plan, to say the least, least of which is Brett Favre actually throwing touchdowns to his own team instead of the other team. But I have no idea how the Vikings are supposed to win this game. As Tom Brady's all of a sudden supposed to start throwing 4 and 5 picks and just look like some uncomposed quarterback. I don't get it at all. I think the Vikings might try to run the ball. Adrian Peterson will have to keep the score close to early on, but in the end, their mistakes will just unravel. This is just not a good football team. I don't see why every week everybody believes they have a shot to keep getting all these favorable spreads. Go with the Patriots this week, please.
Brodie going with his mans in them. Brett Favre and the Minnesota Vikings. I hope he's not a betting man. Sunday night, Pittsburgh Steelers travel to New Orleans to take on the Saints. Guys, can the Saints get their season back on track?
Well, when you look at this game, everything points to a Steeler win here. I mean, Big Ben has looked good. I think that the Rashard Mendenhall has looked pretty good. The Saints last week, they lost to Cleveland. I mean, come on. That being said, something tells me the Saints are going to be able to win this. They're at home. They're in the Superdome. Big Ben is going to get a lot more pressure playing here than he has anywhere else this season. I think their loss to Cleveland was a bit of an aberration because the offense was clicking and did look good. They just had a lot of turnovers. I think if they can clean that bit up, I think they can pull this one off at home.
Steelers games against good teams are usually decided by the Steelers defense and how well they play. In this game, Aaron Smith is out probably for the season. There might be some more running room, although the Saints' top 2 backs are out for the game. Lamar Woodley is also injured. He might be running a little bit slow this week. I think this game might actually be decided by the Steelers' offense and how well they can throw the ball with Ben Roethlisberger. Drew Brees is probably going to score some touchdowns, but I think Roethlisberger, the way he's played this season after coming back, and the level of continuity he has with Hines Ward and Mike Wallace now, I think he'll be able to score enough touchdowns to overpower the Saints' offense.
There's an interesting matchup here, the Saints offense against the Steelers defense. For as good as the Steelers defense gets all this hype and whatnot, they are in the bottom half of the league in pass defense. They're in the bottom half in terms of allowing completion percentage. A couple weeks ago, they were one of the 5 worst teams in the league in terms of opponents' completion percentage. So that means the Saints' little dink and dunk passing offense can definitely have some success against the Steelers defense that usually plays soft with the corners. I think this is a bad matchup for the Steelers this week at the Superdome. Loud, a speedy defense, which can pass rush and give that terrible Steelers offensive line even more to worry about. Saints season, I don't want to say it's on the line here, but this is a very, very, very big game. You can't go 4-4. Even in the NFC, I think there's going to be a lot of problems. After losing to the Browns, as horrifically as that was, they're going to come out with everything. Halloween night, tons of emotions. Drew Brees is going to come out firing on all cylinders. I think the Saints will pull this one out.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting with the last two Super Bowl winners squaring off in that one, and Adam stands alone again in his pick. And another interesting matchup Monday night, an AFC South matchup. The Houston Texans are going to be taking on the Indianapolis Colts in Indianapolis. Can the Texans beat up on the Colts like they did in Week 1?
Well, to some people, this may be surprising. This is a battle for first place in the AFC South. I mean, I think that Houston has looked very good this season, but I think if they lose this game, Indianapolis is probably going to go on to win this division. I think that's exactly what's going to happen. I think Texas running game has been very good, but I think that ultimately Manning is going to do what he does best, which is coming out and not repeating the mistakes of before, of getting revenge. He's going to come out and play a great game, and the Texans aren't going to be able to keep up.
The Texans were able to beat the Colts in Week 1 due to the element of surprise with Arian Foster. The Colts had no idea what was coming. They had no idea what hit them. This time they're more prepared. They know what's going to happen. The Colts have not been swept in their division since 2002. I don't see it happening again. I think the Colts will win. They'll find a way to contain Arian Foster a little bit more, maybe not completely. But Manning, like Marshall said, will have enough time to win this game for the Colts.
The Colts in prime time at home are very dangerous. That defense is definitely much better at home, much more quick, which is what that defense relies on, quickness. I say the game plan against Arian Foster this week. He gets held to under 80 yards. And I know the Colts are missing a lot of receivers here. Dallas Clark is out. Austin Coley's out. It's not going to matter against that Houston pass defense. Just awful, god-awful. I think Jacob Tamme, whatever rookies they pull out from the middle of nowhere, will come in and score a couple touchdowns this week. Let's remember also the Colts have only lost twice to the Texans now. Even though they lost in Week 1, they know the Texans. They know that they still have the Texans number. I expect hierarchy to be established as usual in the AFC South when the time Monday night's over. Colts big this week.
And a sweep for the Colts. Fantasy players at home, you have it on record. Simrath predicting a couple touchdowns for Jacob Tamme from the Colts. Go get him off the waiver wire. All right, this has been Pick 6. As always, thanks for watching. I'm Brian Batko, and on behalf of the panel, enjoy the games.